All right, can I have them dive in real quick? If you guys don't have any questions on closure, what we're going into today is these constructions of triangles. What you want to do is work through 8.1 here, and if you don't have a resource page, I'll send them around. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a much bigger deal. No. Was not a big deal.
Good job.
Gravity works. So, all of this today, I do not want to hold your hand, guide you through, because what people tend to have trouble with is our constructions. Our constructions is constructions. Not quite sure about the tense of that. We're missing midden. That's why my count's off. I keep thinking 9, and I don't need 9 because midden's not here. Midden, you're not here.
Oh, he's missing it.
Ooh, that's a thing. That is going to be a thing. All right, so on 8.1. Okay, so I'm going to slide the directions up onto the TV because also we have books out, and then I'm going to have my camera. Actually, I'm not going to do this with you yet. I want to give you guys a few minutes.
Thanks.
Actually,
What?
I'm not gonna.
So you first need to construct an equilateral triangle named ABC. You have AB, right? Then you must construct the midpoint of BC. Label that M. Then construct AM, which is a median. And we will go from there.
Okay, so people are
Do not erase parts of your construction. My advice would be just leave it.
about that.
What? You're already? What, Satya?
I already erased the as
That means whatever. In our future steps, let yourself see how you did this.
You don't need a protractor.
You don't need a protractor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't. Does this say protractor?
But we need to make it.
I need
a
to
Nope.
straight it.
You do not, and you are not allowed to use a protractor.
But then it'll give us
But
an
you
ugly
said
curved
straight.
line. Using that as a
Wait,
quote-unquote
actually,
straight edge.
the way.
No, okay, so the way you line it up right is by doing the thing where you like stab it. And then you give you an ugly curved line instead of a straight line that you could find with a protractor.
I don't care. This is fine.
This is
So,
fine.
back in the days of Pythagoras or Euler or any of these old dude mathematicians, they did not have the tools that we have. They'd have been lucky to even have like a ruler. So they weren't going to be able to measure how big their triangle length was, and they weren't going to be able to measure a 60-degree angle with any kind of accuracy. It'd be even hard for us to do that with any kind of accuracy. So instead, what they learned how to do is work with just a compass and a straight edge. Straight edge, not ruler, but just a straight edge that you can draw on. So to construct equal sides to AB, we fix AB on our compass, right? Then we can mark a little point up where approximately it will land. And we do the same from B. So we have two little bits of an arc. Where those arcs intersect. Now you can do the entire arc. I don't care. You can make them bigger. I just try to keep my constructions cleaner. That's how we find the top point of our triangle. So that is going to label C. We use the same technique to find a midpoint. Anyone remember? So that's why I paused. I want to see if anyone would finish
Oh,
my
I have no
sentence.
idea. I just tried to
CB.
Yeah, we are finding midpoint of BC.
Oh, I know.
How do you do it, Satya?
Oh.
Don't say protractor.
Everyone.
You
Jacob?
you like make two arcs a little over the halfway point and then make like a perpendicular bisector to the line.
So if you want to make your life easy, guess a halfway and be slightly bigger. You make an arc that goes under and over, and then again, make an arc.
Line through where it crosses on both sides.
Yeah, now I did not extend this arc far enough, so I gotta go back and extend it.
We can't just guess where the midpoint is.
Satya,
No,
we're
it's
not. These arcs are absolutely the same radius, right? They're parts of
Yes.
circles with the same radius. I like when you get mad and then I'm going to prove you wrong.
No,
We like it.
Only because that's my job.
but like you.
You're not
when you-
guessing. You use a straight edge to go in between the two intersections. And that's the midpoint.
No, okay. So you think over here.
So the only
It's not
reason,
wrong.
Satya, the only reason we care about the whole guess where the middle is to be bigger than the midpoint. You could have this compass be all the way out here.
But then you
It
have
ca-
to.
Your arc should be huge. Yeah, it's your line to intersect would be very large. So this, and this is why I'm telling you, leave the arcs. So when you look back at this, you're like, oh yeah, that's how we found the midpoint. That's how we found the other point of our equilateral. So this we're going to label M. Leave your arcs there.
My math teacher lied to me.
What do you mean we're doing this? Yeah, of course, totally. All day, we're essentially just like constructing stuff,
That sounds fun.
playing with protractors. So, are you okay?
No, I just tried to sharpen my pencil with this.
Chris, pretend everything's okay and we won't notice the pain.
That's very not true.
When you try to sharpen your pencil with a stapler.
What do you mean?
No. Unless you closed your program. You're not your program.
Satya, you look defeated.
Yeah.
Let me right in here. Not heads down because the mags are heads down because you're heading.
Okay, for now for this next one. We have to like
Satya's got
find
a
the
headache. We're trying to be
midpoint
nice to
and
him.
find the midpoint of the midpoint and
So I'm going to take a step back because you have people in the room that remember stuff from Math 1 and just ask you guys to try to work your way through BCD and see if you can. I'll slide this back down. Yeah.
Wait, so an altitude is where it goes down from an angle to it and hits a right angle, and then it's perpendicular to the other side.
you know that life would be.
I'm trying to take a step back, but what you said is correct.
I want to about Dr. Moon's life. The dog. Satya has me. No, I don't.
So it's perpendicular to
So there can be an altitude of any one of the sides.
Oh, Stacy. Yeah, but you don't know.
You might go back and put a little notation on AM to remind yourself that's a median.
Mr. Hudson.
Yeah.
Can I tell him to launch this?
That's totally fine. Let me give you a note. feel better. Can we construct an altitude using the tools we have?
That's not an
It has to go from one thing. It's a perpendicular bisector. That's just a perpendicular bisector.
That's not the middle.
Okay, this is lame. When I click on altitude, it says sea height.
And then it's and then height highlighted.
Yeah,
That's right.
essentially it is.
So we're trying to find this to this. No, it goes from a point to the opposite side, and this is the height. We're trying to find that. Oh my. Whew. What is this?
So if you Googled it, let's say you were working on a homework assignment, and you're like, I don't know how to do this, darn you, Hudson.
We text each other. Oh, wait. What?
Can we figure it out?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes.
what?
I think.
Oh, found it.
Okay, now I understand.
I don't know how.
Trying to encourage you guys to be able to use your search techniques.
It looks like a vase. It looks like a vase.
What should I do? Well, first I should probably fold my paper so that it can fit on here. What did they show? What was...
They have an arc drawn from point M, and then they have two more drawn from where you place the little stabby.
So wait,
and-
arc, so we're going to do like a partial circle. Do we think it matters how big it is?
Also, I did. Wait.
Big enough to cross through here twice, right?
Mhm.
So either that one, or potentially even use like that one.
I think I did.
So we just choose a distance, right?
Yay!
Now I don't know if the TD or the smartboard will be easier to see, but you see these circles?
There.
What are those circles?
Those are circles around the points that
On the intersection points, right? And we just have to make them big enough to overlap. So from the point of intersection, you can extend your compass out to here and make it a tiny bit bigger. So, seems alright. Now again, we don't need the entire circles.
the angle bisector.
So if I have that much of the circle, and
No.
What have you done?
It came off. So that means
I did not use that arc because it was too small. I did not like it.
It was terrible.
I did it. Thing.
Terrible art.
I keep moving.
And then, if I did it right, now, we may have slight mistakes as we get better at this, but should be pretty close.
Oh, I did it. Yay.
And then we would, of course, label this. So I'm trying to get the zoom to come back.
Oh, it's not a right triangle. Oh, God. It's not a regular.
Now, is that a median? Why?
Because it doesn't go to the midpoint of the line.
Yeah, medians must go to midpoint. Now, wait a minute. If we go back up here and look... Ah, so wait. So in an equilateral triangle, our altitude is also the median, and the median is also the altitude. Cool? All right. Are we mildly comfortable on how we constructed this? We drew a circle from the point we want to drop an altitude from. Then we draw two intersecting arcs from those intersection points. And then the altitude is that connecting line. Are we comfortable? Well, mildly. What don't you understand?
How you position the line.
So, let's review why we do this. We pick some circle that doesn't exist, and we say, I'm going to create equal distances from M. So the point of this step is to create a point here, well, I just kind of used R, and a point over here that are equidistant from M. So essentially, if I draw this,
Whoa.
we make an isosceles triangle.
Whoa.
Sorry, it's got his focus.
Oh, no, that's an equilateral.
So then, if we think back to what we just did with an equilateral, if I draw two intersecting arcs from the points of it, that's going to create my median. So this technically divides this section equal to that section. Now this section's just kind of on its own, but because we created an isosceles triangle dropped in altitude, which is actually a median in that situation, we know that's perpendicular based off how we built this. Does that make sense? So this line is actually a chord going through two intersecting circles. And we just extend it beyond the circles, which actually, depending on how big you make your circles, the intersection points could be further away. Questions? Because now I'm going to take it to the harder step. If your triangle is an obtuse triangle, there are situations, pretty much anytime you have an obtuse triangle, where your altitude, quote unquote, is not inside the triangle. Because to drop from that point perpendicular to the other side can't be in the triangle. So this is the altitude of the triangle, even though it's outside of it. And that, to this point right there, would tell you the height of the triangle. So if you're trying to find area of this triangle, base times this is your height. Only to that intersection, though. Questions? We did the same thing here. We create an isosceles triangle out here, and then we create two circles from the bottom points of the isosceles, and that's how we know it will be perpendicular. Questions? Now it's going to get really fun. PRX
Also a triangle, as you may have noticed.
So, hint, hint, the one I just showed you. We're doing the same thing as what I just showed you. So I'll put that up on the TV if you want it. I can drag this whole thing up on the TV, I guess. My best advice, extend the side that you know is going to need extended first. And that's Dr. Smith advice right there.
Yeah, this is ruler.
Here, I got you. If you just need a straight edge, these are all broken in some way, shape, or form.
Oh.
I told you it was broken.
Yeah, but it just flipped over.
Yeah, well, the tape gave out. So then, somebody tell me what my next step should be. I extended out PX. Oh, sorry, angle bisector. Sorry, I was so stuck in my head of the altitude. Now, I could drop an altitude of this. I need a bisect angle P.
I've constructed all of the altitudes.
Did that help you find the angle bisector?
No. Nothing helps.
The world is against you.
Yes.
Let's just draw a bunch of arcs until one of them makes something.
Oh no, wait.
Guess what,
Oh, this
Christopher?
is easy.
Guess what?
Okay.
We need to do
Yeah.
We need to do the altitudes after that part.
The angle bisector.
Harris,
is
I
easy.
just erased my altitude.
I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what to do.
We don't know it wrong.
Oh, I know. I know.
What should be
First,
my?
you need the midpoint of XR.
So I use that whole circle technique.
Yep.
So if I midpoint XR,
That would, I don't think that would make
No, that would make a median.
No, that makes it neat.
No, yeah. And
Not
then
an angle
once you
bisector.
make the median, you connect the median with P, and then you got the angle bisector.
No, that's
Nope,
still a
that's-
median.
No,
Not
do
an
that.
angle
It's
bisector.
like it's halfway between P.
No,
bisector,
look
bisector.
at your angle closely.
No.
And does that look like Thomas? I don't think it's ever drawn this yet.
well, when we're doing constructions,
I
it
think I did
actually
it.
should be. So this is what I just got told to do.
I
You
think
do
that's
it.
right.
No,
it's not.
no.
I think I know now.
All right,
That's how you do it,
Jacob,
Chris forgot.
you raised your hand.
Okay, so you draw an arc with the little pointy thing on P, on angle P,
How big do you want my arc?
big enough like that, I guess. And then where it intersects on PX and PR, you draw little dots, and you can name them whatever you want. Billy, I don't know.
Billy and
Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted. There we go.
Okay. And then you make the two little mini arcs inside the triangle from B and from
Well, first
Billy
you have to
from
make
Ted.
a straight line. So you have to draw a line between the 2 points.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't use a curved line from the middle.
Unfortunately.
I'm gonna follow Jacob's directions. If he tells me,
I don't think it matters either way. But anyways, and then you do from Ted.
this is where a good protractor really helps.
And then the line that you draw between the 2 points to P should be an angle bisector.
Yeah, my arcs got a little off because my compass changed size.
And I believe that's an angle bisector.
Does that hit where we found our median?
No,
No.
it's close though.
An angle bisector and a median would be the same thing in what? An equilateral,
An
right?
isosceles with just one.
An isosceles drop into the base, right? So my arcs got a little goofy, so sorry that doesn't line up quite right to look right. Now, when Thomas, the thing was, you saying we need a straight line? Were you saying put a straight line between B and T?
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter either way.
Is
I
that
don't think.
necessary?
It doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you could. I just don't think it's necessary.